What's up, YouTube? So for the movie Blind Date, Madonna turned down the role, which went to Kim Basinger. It was kind of funny because I remember going to go see that movie. I was in Hampton, Virginia at the time, and there was a movie theater across from the Hampton Coliseum. So it was on Mercury Boulevard. It was a trip, and I remember that movie like yesterday because I think I went for the evening. And what I remember is that Bruce Willis threw this cherry, which landed in Kim Basinger, and he said Magic Johnson. And he did a sky hook, and I always remember that scene. It was a decent, cheery kind of movie. Of course, Basinger was more bigger in 9.5 weeks would make it work, but with Bruce Willis was after a Moonlight. He was going into movies. He was actually this is before Die Hard Part 80 took off. So before his action hero swashbuckling type of vibe, he was playing a leading man, romantic lead with Kim Basinger. So it was kind of cute, lighthearted movie. I remember going to go see it. Um, just getting to the elephant in the room, Madonna wouldn't have been right for the role. She had done Desperately Seeking Susan. Uh, uh, who's that girl? She had some cutesy roles. I hadn't really seen her with a leading man per se, so I don't think this would have necessarily would have flown. I'm thinking about it in hindsight. I don't know if it would have really, you know, just thinking about it in hindsight, you know. But I remember when it came out. um, I remember when it was, was out, and it was a kind of film that it was. Again, sometimes you see a nice lighthearted film, you kind of just watch it, and you kind of take it in stride, and so on and so forth, and then you just kind of like, kind of like reflect on it. But the interesting thing is, because like with a lot of these films and stuff, you find out there were people who turned them down. They didn't want to partake in them for different reasons, and sometimes it's because they either didn't feel there was chemistry, or they didn't feel like the casting would have definitely been something that would have been lasting. And again, it was a pretty lighthearted movie. It wouldn't have made or break her career, but at the time she was, fresh fish out of water trying to act. Bruce Willis had had some roles, and this was interesting. Kim Basinger at the time was a happening actress. This was way before Batman kicked in, and like I said, before 9.5 weeks. So she had some. She was kind of in between. Her career could have gone real interesting because she could have been stuck in Sharon Stoneville, but she had enough credibility as an actress to plots in certain type of movies. Of course, so there's a whole generation who only know her from 8 Mile with Eminem's mama. So she's had quite the roller coaster ride of a career, shall we say. So, but this was a nice, lighthearted film at the time. I'm not going to get into a whole lot of depthness about this, but I do believe that, you know, I think she was the right one for the role. I don't think that Madonna could necessarily pull it off. I can say that in hindsight and remembrance because I didn't think that you had to have a certain type of personality, and I think that with Bruce Willis it would take a certain balance. And Madonna wasn't there yet as an actress, and she was okay, you know, but she was looking for some bigger roles, which she got a few years later with Dick Tracy with Warren Beatty. So this one just wasn't in the cards. But anyway, let me know what you think. Madonna turning down Blind Date with Bruce Willis, which went to Kim Basinger. Please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like. Hit that membership. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out. Peace.